The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. And as always, we meet at the appointed time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So, what do we have going on today? Well, still everybody kind of thinking in the background that China's reopening is going to add a bit to the overall world markets, hopefully without adding more inflation. Did see some people talking today. We talked about Coinbase a little bit on the show yesterday and the crypto ruling. I'm now starting to see some articles and news kind of talking a bit about some of the other exchanges starting to have a run on them. So that's kind of interesting. Gold's totally flat, so not much is going on that. We have a lot of other stocks that are moving today, but kind of all quiet on the Western front today. We're up 16 points the last I see. Let's see what we have here now on the update. Up 17 points on the S&P. Not much volume on the way down as we've been talking over the last few days. Could this just be a counter trend move in a bear market? And it could. We could get back to 4,000 or 4,100. It's not real clear just how much energy there is on the way back higher. Could that turn into something bigger? It could. I'm not going to bank on it. As I tell many people, I try to trade like I drive in fog and not like a nut. I kind of slow down and know that fog is one of those killers that makes you think you can see a lot more than you can. Right now, I don't think there's that much to see. 877-927-6648. Let's do a little history and then we'll move on.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1962, NASA announces plans to build the C-5 rocket booster. It became better known as the Saturn V moon rocket. Spam in a can, which launched every Apollo moon mission. Most people don't know that came from the Air Force, who was working on a booster to nuke the Ruskies. But it had a lot more work to be done before it was ready to take us to the moon. Actually, it never got really that far. It's just the first stage. And Jeff Bezos from Amazon went out and snatched as many as he could find on the ocean floor, but didn't really ever seem to do him much good. And of course, just thinking about Virgin Galactic today. SP. I haven't looked at this one for forever. Let's pull up a chart on here. SPCE. I remember when everybody was, when this was a meme stock, everybody was telling me how I was all wet and stupid for not thinking that this was going to be the next monster stock of all time. It's hard. Space is hard. Very hard. One of the hardest things to do in the world. And I think a lot of people just thought because SpaceX was doing it, they just made it look easy. And I guess when you know what you're doing, you can make it look easy. But it never is. You've always got to be perfect on just about everything. I just don't see it. It's very tough at the prices that SpaceX is putting stuff into orbit to have a big market in this. But the whole Virgin thing they've never really been that big at anything. I wasn't really thinking that he was going to show himself to be some kind of giant rocket engineer for, what is his name? Got an island. If you got an island and you're trying to get into rockets, aren't you just about 3/4 of the way to a Bond villain already? Branson? Yeah, he's got his own island, Branson Island. I remember they chased me off there several times when I was sailed by it. He didn't like anybody coming by it. But, what can you say? Virgin Galactic. Yeah, he did. Kind of interesting to see it up on a bad hair day. Yeah, Branson, I said that. Okay, other things going on. We already got into that. Got some emails coming in. A couple of them. CTSH. Okay. Cognizant. This thing's just going sideways. I don't see anything in here that says this thing's, as of late, all you have is a lower low. Now I think you're going to make a lower high. You got 6101 today. There's just not a lot of energy. You're kind of boxed in under confluence right here on this one. Any thoughts on where the volume, or on the thoughts on the VIX, where a bottom may be? I'm thinking that I haven't seen it, but generally the best thing to do, UVXY, is wait until this splits. And I have not seen any information on a reverse split on. See if we see anything. But generally, the market makers, SPLIT, UVXY, UVY. Okay. I don't see anything announced. Maybe somebody else has seen something. It's got 10 splits. Okay. See if there's anything else here. No, this goes back to 2021. So that's the last bunch of splits from these guys. Generally, what you're going to find out is that when the split comes, is generally when this thing turns around, or when the entire VIX comes around. So keep a close eye on a lot of these leveraged stocks that look like they're going to zero. This is normally where they'll announce one fairly close to here. Like I said, I think this can continue to deteriorate all the way at least into the 20th of the month, and I think maybe even into the first week of February. So I'm not I don't call anybody a sir except my dad. He's dead, so I don't call him that anymore.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kakestat's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kakestat breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors. Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And as we sit around, we're up 21 points now on the S&P cash. On the UVXY, which because it's actually tradable, I like that a little bit better. You got Confluence at $10.62. So if something really did happen, there's a fairly good trade in it. The downside is generally when this thing gets this low, they announce a split, and either the market starts going higher and or it goes sideways. It generally starts moving back the other way once the split in these super leveraged bearish ETFs are over, and I haven't seen anything like that yet. 877-927-6648. We're going to start talking about at least some of the stuff in the news. Had a couple people email me already about my thoughts on Qualcomm. We've talked about it before. There's some things that you just can't teach somebody else. They have to have kind of an innate ability to understand. I bring up Earnhardt, the race car driver, who was rather amazing on these big oval racetracks where you had to draft everybody. And the thought was that Dale Earnhardt was one of these guys that actually could see the wind. I've heard that from other folks when they were designing aircraft, the same thing. And of course, it's something you can't see, so you got to have an idea how all that works. But certainly the guy that designed many of our most important jet fighters and the SR-71 and U-2, Kelly Johnson, had that same kind of thing. There weren't a lot of computers to tell you exactly how everything worked in fluid dynamics. Now there's a lot more to that, so it may be more of a science than an art, but it still has some level of art in it. But when you're talking about RF radio frequency stuff, like handsets, no, I haven't changed my mind. My belief is all the brouhaha, is Apple once again trying to negotiate Qualcomm down. To understand just how interesting or valuable Qualcomm's technology is on RF, just remember that they threw one of the Qualcomm guys in jail until he spilled or was to spill the beans. What they didn't know is he wasn't that part. He wasn't the guy that they needed to tell them about how to do everything. He knew the digital part of it, but not the analog RF part of it. That guy never leaves the country, especially since the Chinese commies tried to beat it out of the other guy. But we continue that. Now, Apple, same thing. They kind of look like themselves as Qualcomm or as Walmart, and it's it's your privilege to do business with us. And if we just don't pay you, we can run you bankrupt. Apple's done that a couple of times to some various other companies. I have a rather vulgar joke that explains it, but of course, probably not allowed for such tender ears as TFNN. But it makes the point very clear. Remains me a patent why he said things a little foul. He wanted people to get the point. Anyway, Qualcomm has technology. For 40 years, these guys have been hiring the best engineers, bringing them in, educating them with the people that have come before them, and finding those folks that have the best innate ability to understand radio frequencies and how they work. Well, Apple thinks that by buying the failed part of Intel, that they'll be able to just replace them. Could it possibly work? Yes. Is it ever going to be anything probably as close to Qualcomm? Probably not. There is just a culture of building the right kind of products. So, Broadcom, much bigger issue for those guys. But again, I don't think Apple is going to wave a magic wand and be able to, through osmosis, bring this up. With digital circuits, you can just keep trying until you get it right. You can move things around. There's other people. But, the big thing when everybody went digital is how many people actually understand analog circuits and RF communications. And that is a very black art or dark art that a lot of people just don't understand. So I wouldn't say that there's a big problem. I would say it's Apple for the umpteenth time trying to negotiate with Qualcomm. And I would imagine that maybe Tim Cook just doesn't understand. And to tell you the truth, if I hadn't met some people that were absolutely out of this world smart in RF, I would have thought that anybody could have really learned it and understood it. But I met some people in the National Association of Broadcasters that were into transmission technology, that kind of stuff. It's kind of like quantum computing or quantum mechanics. If you think you understand it, you're wrong. It's just one of those things. It doesn't work the way you think it should, and you need a very special thing. But anyway, one of the guys in the den talks about it, doing it. But yeah, so maybe you're one of the special guys. I'm just saying that most people at the level that you need to be able to do it to beat Qualcomm or be as good at Qualcomm is a rare and perishable talent. Anyway, I bet you would say that if anybody else tried to come in and design something right behind you, they would have a lot of makeup work to do. Email me. That's the EO mail, ELL, at path@tfnn.com. Okay. Well, maybe Apple needs to hire you. That would be, maybe that solves their issue. But to this point, all the people of the 3,500 people they've hired for that part of Apple's iPhone technology, they just don't get it done. We'll be back in a minute.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And talking in the den to an engineer, there's a lot of people with, with talent and knowledge that is just kind of lost to the ages. And was somebody on the den saying they've been pulled out of retirement 3 times. That's kind of like the folks that I know is that if you know what you're doing and everybody else doesn't, you are the guy with one eye in a land of blind folks. But I was talking to a guy last night at dinner from the National Transportation Safety Board, who was talking about digging this guy out that was like 85 years old, that had made a flight data recorder. And they wanted to get the data off of it. They found it after, I don't know, like 20 or 30 years or something. This thing printed on foil. It's so old, not even anything close to electronics, but no one knows how the thing works or how to read it or get the data off of it. So they had to go dig up an 85-year-old guy. Thank God he was still with it and could get the data off of him for it. But there's a lot of technology out there that just kind of falls by the wayside. I think YouTube is doing a great job of having some of these people at least put it down and videotape it and that kind of stuff. I know there's a big group that dug a huge amount of the technology from the Apollo missions out of dumpsters and bought it by the pound. Things like the flight data, the flight computers and that kind of stuff. Literally, they threw in the trash. And, of course, no one knows how it works. No one knows where the code is. All the stuff got thrown away. These guys are slowly tearing it apart, reverse engineering it, and figuring out how it all works. But, if you know some ancient technology, there's still a lot of money in it. Or if you know something that most people don't, as I said, not many people decide that they want to get into the RF part of the business these days. And the people that are teaching probably don't know a lot. So anyway, we're going to look at some other stuff out here, the big movers and shakers. Agilent Technologies, up today, but again on very light volume, both up and down. A lot of the different stocks are not really driving that much there. Okay. Lumina. This did test the previous low, might be doing it on lighter volume, really needed a couple bucks lower, but didn't really get into it. Starting to act like it is making some kind of low in the markets. They basically had kind of the next quarter not looking too well and said so. This was one of those companies where everybody was buying DNA sequencers. 23andMe and all the other, not archaeology, what was it? Your lineage. I'm trying to remember what not archaeology, but it begins with an A. Maybe somebody knows which I'm talking about. Ancestry, that's what I was thinking of. Genealogy, that's another one. Anyway, everybody was getting into that. They said it was going to be a huge part of the business. 23andMe, by the way, is owned by the ex-wife of Serge from Google fame. So there's some money behind some of that stuff. It just hasn't done as well. Everybody thought it'd be a lot more money in it. Didn't happen. Illumina way overbuilt for a number of years, and there's still kind of an overhang. I think long term, it's kind of a decent business. Don't know if it'll ever get to the heights that it got before, but certainly, it's probably an ongoing business. Things will get better, especially as CRISPR and other RNA style therapies continue. I wanted to say vaccines, but they're not vaccines. They're therapies. If you still get it and you still give other people it, it's not a vaccine. IQV. All right, this one's got a nice move out here today. Not a huge volume stock. Up today. Volume's okay. I don't see a lot in that. Let's take a quick look at Amazon. Did have a gap up. Only about half of yesterday's volume so far. It looks to me like maybe more of a short squeeze than a monster change. A little bit of the thoughts here are that this is not a bad looking chart. I would have liked to seen the volume a little lower, testing the previous low of November 9th. But again, on China reopening, Amazon tried to sell a lot of stuff, just couldn't get it. they weren't making it. A lot of the shutdowns were continuing. So the narrative now that many people are pushing on Amazon is with China reopening, they'll have a lot more of that stuff, Chinesium, as I like to call it, Chinesium nuts and bolts, that are problematic. Anyway, you got a nice bounce. I just wish there was kind of more volume. You only tested the previous low and spiked through it on, I want to get about 5 or 10% lighter volume. I do like this long, protracted pullback from the November 15th high into yesterday's low, but I would have liked to see a lot more volume. You may have a little bit more consolidation out here to the side. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm just reading a few emails here and making groans so people won't talk about dead air. Okay. Got that. Okay. Vago, we kind of briefly touched on this. It is coming right up to a gap that continues from a gap down back on April 6th of last year. That had about 2.4 million shares. You got some decent volume in it yesterday. Again, the news kind of coming out today. So you've got either, Dragonfly style doji out here with a lot of volume. A lot of people making great deal about Apple, but again, I've seen the movie, and it's happened since at least 2012. I'm going to say 5 times Apple has decided that it no longer needs Qualcomm, and a year and a half later, they're still using Qualcomm. DHR, okay, Daner. Nice pop today. No volume on it, though, in comparison to yesterday's huge plunge lower at 5.8 million shares. You got about 1.6 today. So keep an eye on that. Dish, some downgrades on it, but it's hard to think that Musk putting up 4,000 satellite, how the Dish is ever going to be able to compete with it. And really just kind of a streaming service now and an also run. So I don't know what's going on there. We'll be back in a minute.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
And after all that talk of RF, I'm getting Pete sending me stock requests in Morse code. I hope that does not end up being a thing or a daily thing. He didn't say what's going on or what questions he has other than Tesla in Morse code. You had a huge reversal. You hit some highs yesterday. I don't know if there's much else to say on that. I was kind of looking for Friday around 116. It kind of had a blow off, and I don't know if there's a whole lot more to say other than that. Right now it's at 117.5, but somewhere around 116 is probably support resistance levels where it will need to consolidate out. I don't know if this is something that's or larger or bigger than, but you can see the short with the black on my chart. That's the percentage of shorts, and why I was all over it starting on Thursday, Friday, thinking it was going to be a huge move. Just massive amounts of shorts, and eventually you're going to get a huge move. But you're just back up against resistance. Volume was fairly light today. And I don't know if you can make anything more about it than that. Probably would need to consolidate for a while. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Let's get back to that. We're a little higher than I thought, but, probably need to consolidate around 3,900 on the bigger ones. Now the question on Freeport, 44.70, you've broken through the previous high. It looks like you may have the volume here today. You may have the makings of this being the end of the three gaps, though, with the first gap at 32nd, the second gap at 40, and the other gap at 42.50. Doesn't mean you give it all up, but see the volume, you need about 11 million, you need about 13 million shares today. You're going to come kind of close. But, if you got 18, 17, 16, something like that, probably a pretty good sign. If you just tie with 13 million, is it okay? Yes. Is it a slam dunk? No. GNRC, Generac, nice move and gap higher. Again, not a lot of volume here. You're just up to resistance at the moment. Been coming down on volume for about 7 or 8 days. To Illumina, we did that one. mRNA. Nice bounce on this, just no volume. Again, I think a lot of what's we're waiting for is going to be tomorrow on options delta neutral, and 13 on and Thursday with more economic numbers to finish off the week. And I don't think there's a very good risk reward probably until we get into at least tomorrow afternoon and maybe Thursday afternoon. 877-927-6648. But yeah, we could just hover around this level for a while and consolidate what kind of looks like a fairly decent low in the markets. Okay, other things. OLED, someone brought this up earlier in the day. You want to end up breaking through 127.62. That's the August 18th high. With about 900,000 shares, you got about half that right now. The gap down on that day after that, 461,000 shares. A lot of OLED is fairly good technology, but it really looks like most people are moving on to micro LEDs. It has kind of the best of both worlds of the regular old style LEDs and OLEDs, and the micro ones are really starting to catch up. That was one of the big things that Consumer Electronics Show was regular TVs with it, but I think you're probably going to start seeing a lot more phones with it also for lower power draw and less burn and other things like that. Okay. To Qualcomm or Regeneron, let's take a look at that one. Big gap lower. This is going back into the gap up of 3.7 million shares back on September 8th. 3.7 million shares. You had a monster gap that's kind of coming back in with just about 500,000 shares today. There is a double gap at about 650. Not saying it's going to get back down there, but if it did on light volume, that would be a fairly decent chart pattern to pick up. This may be it. You never know. You don't have much in the way of volume, but keep an eye on it. TMO, we were talking a lot about technology stocks. Thermo Fisher Scientific, a nice bounce today, but again, just kind of in the trading range. Not much going on in that. UAL. Okay. You're up on the lighter volume. You had this huge candle on the down day of the 13th of December that had 18.4 million shares. You got about 6.2. Do have a question about Boeing. We have time. And what's all the brouhaha going on with Boeing? In the omnibus bill that was passed before everybody left for Christmas in the Congress, one of the things in it was that Boeing's going to get an extra 3 years to make a system. If you've ever seen the dash of an airplane, it's got all the warning lights that flash and beep. I'm sure you've seen them in the movies. There's a new system that they're working on in some of the planes, some of the newer ones. The 737 really doesn't have it yet, especially in the 737-800. But the idea behind that is instead of having a Christmas tree of lights on the dash, this thing would go and just tell you which one is blinking and the checklist to go through and what to do when that thing blinks. But it was going to take another couple of years. Congress at some point had said that, and the FAA said that you needed to have this in the current planes. Well, not everything gets built in a day. So they've gotten 3 more years to push this thing off. A lot of people are confusing it with the problems they had a few years ago, but not quite the same thing. Just an automated version of kind of what some people call the Christmas tree. All the lights that blink at you and tell you this and that and the other is going bad. We'll be back in a minute.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're looking at some of the other movers and shakers of the day. You had Vornado open up lower, kind of came back. I don't know if you can make a whole lot out of anything that I saw here today so far. Let's take a quick look at the TLT. You know, you had that huge day. You got an inside day now. So, let's see, that's right. Is that right? Oh, yeah, I'm missing. I thought something was wrong here. Okay. I'm missing a day. I need to update this. Let's do that. There we go. Yeah, I don't know. You had a big day, little top off today. I have a feeling a lot more of it's we're just going to hold our breath until Thursday morning for the econ numbers. Tomorrow is Delta neutral day, so expect kind of the same thing we had today, which is they'll try to push it up, they'll try to push it down. They'll want to try to hedge out as much stuff as they can for options expiration on the 20th, right? I think it's 20th, all month long. Yeah, it's 20th for the monthly options. So we'll probably have some action, but probably ought to be looking at 5-minute charts. My guess is that we will probably either fail or start moving higher on Thursday into the 20th and options expiration. But I'll probably have a much better idea tomorrow when options are closing somewhere around 3:30. You find out what at least the option market makers are looking for, and I'll move from there. Not a lot of reasons to get in front of a steamroller trying to pick up dollar bills, at least in my opinion. Sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here tomorrow.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people.